Hello friends, it is October 21st and it is time for Wednesday Connections. As we continue our journey in this kind of difficult and strange, unusual and even troublesome time, we all might be seeking ways of trying to nurture ourselves and try to keep ourselves centered and grounded. We do it with prayer and meditation and study. One of the things that I've been introduced to just recently is a book by Bishop Michael Curry. He is he's presiding bishop, it is said, of the Episcopal Church. And it is a book entitled Love is the Way. And I am really enjoying this book. It is just phenomenal. And as I have conversations with people, one of the things I hear quite often is, there's just so much going on in the world right now. The world is just pretty much a mess, is what I hear from people. I just never felt that in 2020 we'd be where we are today. Pandemic, racism, the political environment, the economic situation, people's lives being upheaval and not knowing where it's all going to go. And it's just really hard for people. And so what can little old me do when I'm supposed to be quarantining at home? I can't touch my children, not my children, but the family, like their parents or their neighbors. I can see them with my mask on, but I don't feel I can be as intimate and helpful as normal. So one of the chapters in this book really is beautiful and it addresses that nicely. It is in chapter 6 and it is entitled, It's Not Easy. And each chapter begins with a question. And the question in chapter 6 that it begins with is, I'm just a regular person. Can my love have an impact? He goes on to say, we cannot do everything. And there is a sense of liberation in realizing this. This enables us to do something and to do it very well. Friends, I simply want to share just a couple paragraphs from this book. It is just really wonderful, hoping that it might help you feel a little more empowered, that there is something that you can do by just listening to these words by Bishop Michael Curry. He says, all human progress and change for the good, whether individual or social, is the result of struggle, often long and laborious. Our task is to do our task, not to do every task needed for progress to happen. And when we accept that, we free ourselves to do what we can with the time and resources that we have. And he went on to talk about we keep inching along like the Poe inchworm, as the spiritual goes. And in 2015, in his Christmas homily, Pope Francis sought to express the truth by quoting the words often attributed to the late Oscar Romero, the Archbishop of El Salvador, who was killed for his commitment to bettering the lives of the poor in his country. Though Romero didn't write them, they reflect who this great soul was and what he stood for. He said, we may never see the end results, but that is the difference between the master builder and the worker. We are workers, not master builders, ministers, not messiahs. We are prophets of a future, not our own. He goes on to say the distance between you and a historic change maker, such as Mother Teresa, as you've heard me speak of her many times, I love her, the Dalai Lama, Madame Curie, or Abe Lincoln, is not so great as you think. Your job is to do your job as theirs is to do theirs. God is God, and we are human. The God who the Bible says is love knows all and sees all. Meanwhile, we're only human. And as St. Paul says, we see through a glass darkly. He says, none of us can know where our witness to love might lead. what light we might bring to the world. It's just our job to do our job, to do our little bit where we are, and to let God do God's job. And 2 final sentences. The only thing we need to know is this: the nature of progress is struggle. And if we give up because victory seems so far away or outside our individual grasp that we can't see it, then we've lost everything. Our job is to do our job and to let God do God's job. I really appreciate those words in chapter 6, because I think it addresses what so many of us are feeling, that what can we do? And of course, I'm going to just say it right out, because you know it's important. We need to vote. And if you haven't voted, you need to get it done. It's really, really, really important. Another thing you guys know about me is I love to spend time in the United Methodist Hymnal, and the last few weeks I've spent some time with it, with you. And as much as I love the Bible and so many of the devotional things that I have access to, this is a really important part of my spiritual journey, and it brings me back to a centeredness and a groundedness. And it's simply the United Methodist Hymnal. I absolutely love it. Recently, I have been more drawn to they're all in sections, but the section of songs that are entitled Social Holiness. And so today, if you have a United Methodist Hymnal, it is on page 431. And I'm going to invite you to sing with me a very familiar hymn, Let There Be Peace on Earth. Let us sing together. Page 431. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God our Creator. Children all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. What beautiful words to end our time together, and to remind you that we all have a job to do. It's not someone else's job. Someone else might have a job we see as bigger. I don't know if any of them are bigger. It takes a million small little things to make change and transformation happen. So never discount anything that you might have to offer. And remember that you do your job, let others do their job, and let God do God's job. Because we all have a part to play in rebuilding and transforming brokenness and pain. It's really nice to be with you, and I want to apologize right now for this alto voice. I realize I probably need to get somebody else involved in the singing part, but I want you to see our hymns as a healing place for us at this time. I look forward to seeing you again soon, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.